Thanks everyone for having me. It's quite a blessing to be able to come to San Diego. I've learned so much already. I love this community and to come up here. I know that Chaplain Be a Dog, as you said, we've been together. Feels like all those 12 years, even though we've been in different locations, it's been side by side, and he's told me so many great things about this chapel here, and it's great to be able to see you all face to face and share as brothers and sisters in Christ. But when Chaplain Be a Dog shared with me what this message was going to be about, and as you already heard, that idea of take courage, this is the one image that came to mind. And thankfully I still had the photo. I'm one of the guys in the back there struggling, and for those of you who might have gone through boot camp, I know this is a Marine Corps base, so the Navy's Officer Candidate program is probably not as intense, but it was led by Marine gunnery sergeants, so you can only imagine what the experience must have been like. But usually if we didn't do something right, it meant that we had to do some extra physical strain. And usually it meant going to what was essentially a volleyball pit and a lot of physical activity. So I think in this picture we're trying to walk and crawl or something like that, and just kind of yelling out as loud as we can. But in that moment, and many of you might have similar times of physical exertion, even I know, as Chaplain Be a Dog has shared with me, a lot of you have spent some time in combat and serving our nation in some of our wars and conflicts. So you know probably more than I do just what that moment's like in terms of being at that point where you feel like you're almost at your breaking point. And then asking God, and that's really where faith comes to be, where you're just giving your heart and saying, God, I can't do this all on my own. I need you. And I think that's what this message is about. In those moments, Jesus responds in our hearts through the Holy Spirit. And just says, indeed, take courage. And that's really what my message, my story is about. As Chaplain Be a Dog already shared, I started out as a young second class. I actually had graduated college when I came in, was 25 at the time, and I really just wanted to serve my country and serve the community. And God led me through that moment to do some great things as a junior enlisted, and then I put my package in to go to OCS, and God rewarded that faithfulness. And that's where we first came to be on a second part of the journey. And as you know, with this chapel, the way Chaplain Be a Dog reaches out, and I know you guys are doing some great things with those single Marines. I was kind of I wasn't quite a single sailor, but we were the officer candidates that had nowhere else to go but to the chapel every Sunday, because that was the only free time we got. And he did an incredible job in making sure that we were uplifted. But I did get my commission, it's crazy to think, all the way back in 2008, and about 10 years ago, and I started out as what's called a surface warfare officer. Some more dark period there of trying to drive a ship, have some leaders that maybe were not the most godly, trying to just drive me to a certain place where their idea of fear in you would bring you to development. But unfortunately it was a very dark time, but God led me through that. He led me through a lot of deployments, and I relate that, as Chaplain Be a Dog said, that journey, going from Norfolk, going to South America, going to Africa, being at the nexus of where hurt is. And in the midst of that, God has led me to ministry. And thankfully, I had an opportunity to go with Chaplain Be a Dog here to the Philippines right after I commissioned. I know that you probably have heard a lot about his Operation Hope stories, and just it's really given me a heart for the Philippines. I love the culture. I love everything that's about there. And the picture there at the top is just a moment that we were giving out some food and being able to I think I was signing autographs at the time. I don't know why I was famous, but the kids thought I was, so that was pretty cool. And, you know, I think when I first got to my first duty station, I really just wanted to reach out to the homeless population. So God led me to build a ministry there of, you know, just trying to give them some food on the weekends. But in all that, and I'm still, even as I'm in the military, I'm asking, Lord, send me. And, you know, because I had seen the hurt in Norfolk there, but I felt there was so much bigger. And so an amazing thing happened, unfortunate thing happened, was the earthquake in Haiti in 2010. That's not me there. I was actually behind the camera in this photo. But the Lord, through that earthquake, sent a lot of us down there and sent the military. You know, obviously our government leaders decided that the U.S. should respond to that disaster, an incredible hurt there. Almost 1.3 million people affected, hundreds of thousands lost their life in that earthquake. Just the infrastructure in Haiti didn't allow for a quick recovery. And so we went down there as a military, a great wide-spanning effort, a military effort. And I was on a ship at the time, got the call at about 3 a.m. saying, get to the ship, we're leaving. And as we were down there, just sending small boats in, and this is kind of a snapshot of what that moment was like. We're just going into a community, a lot of kids just coming up. They're in such deep poverty, and they see someone in uniform and just want to be a part of your life for a moment. So out of that moment, you know, I got a chance to really, you know, step into what it meant to be the deepest poverty of this world. And certainly when we went down in 2008 in the Philippines, some poverty there, and there continues to be struggling people in some of the villages that we also partner with you all to help. But Haiti was my first real opportunity to see the deepest and most entrenched poverty, particularly after that earthquake, where if you can see this picture, those people are living in tents made out of tarps that were given after the earthquake. And they lived there for an extended period of time, almost 4 years. I went down there after I came back from our official military efforts, and I went down there on my own in personal capacity as I was starting to build this thing called Join the Journey. And we were able to just say, hey, where is these tent villages? We know they're out there. What is this like? What are they living in? What type of circumstance? And I got to walk through one. I met just a handful of people, and at that moment, just seeing those tents, seeing this small belongings, just a little bit of their belongings, seeing the kids run by in this tent village, that, you know, the juxtaposition between my life of everything is so nice and kids on bikes and paved streets, to seeing this, it just broke me in half. And in that moment, I said, we're going to go to Haiti. And I said I mean the organization that I was building at the time, just with a handful of friends and other Christ followers. And we just said, we're going to pool resources, we're going to try to outreach to people we know, we're going to do what we can, and we're going to just send some money and make change there. And so that was my journey, and continues to be my journey of just how are we moving to help the hurt of the world, and doing that all in a context of continuing to serve as a godly Christian, and continuing to do what I can for my country. So I'm just a regular guy committed to service, and I'm thankful that no matter where I go, God is always bringing me through. And I think being here today is a true blessing, as I said, just to have see all those mile markers, you know, just to reach these different points, and just to be here in San Diego after all of that, and be united with Chapman Beta Dog is a blessing. And a couple of the pictures here that I just want to highlight. I know you, as Chapman Beta Dog said, you all help us uplift and partner with us and join the journey. These people in the Philippines are a blessing to some of that contribution. The Potter's Clay Baptist Church, and I know time to be out, I probably shared a lot about them, but it's just a beautiful thing. A church that's right in the middle of a village. They've got a congregation almost the size of here, 50 people, a small little place that they gather, and they just love each other. They love the Lord, and they're committed to each other. We've helped them through, as you can see this picture on the type right, of just giving them microloans, giving them some opportunities to sell food. These villagers that their husbands, most of them are farm hands, making only about $2 a day, sometimes about $100 for a month, and they're able to take on their own industries that helps not only themselves but the community, and it's a blessing. We also have a partnership now in Cameroon. That's this picture on the top or the bottom left. Christians there right now, they're unfortunately going through some persecution as there's a massive conflict in that nation, but you can see here just the beauty of uniting with Christians of a completely different culture, but still love God in the same way we do. And that's really the journey I'm on. Again, thank you for having me. And I think the only way that I've gotten through it is that idea of take courage. And I encourage all of you to take that same courage as you're going through your journey, wherever it's at. Whether you're at the beginning of it, you're young, enlisted here on this base, you've kind of already maybe done your service, and maybe you're looking at what the next chapter is. There's so much that God continues to have for you, and I look forward to continue updates here. And now that I'm in San Diego, being part, at least in different ways, for what you all are doing here. Thank you, and God bless.